guys, it's Jo and welcome back to Trauma Talk. I don't know why I haven't made this video before now because it's something I think about all the time, and I think it's one of the most important things to think about and talk about in recovery. But I guess we make things and talk about things when we're ready, so now is the time. But I released a video a couple days ago talking about the power of community and how important it is to talk to people, you know, when you're ready and when it's in a healthy environment who have been through similar things that you have been through. And then someone commented, you know, that's great, but I have a really hard time doing that because of what I've been through. You know, it relates to community. And I just thought, like, God, that is so true. And my story relates to that. And I have not shared a part of my story that I think is important to share because it sounds like a lot of you may have similar experiences. And I'm so sorry for what everyone has gone through regarding community. And I wanted to kind of add to the dialogue regarding that. But I could not stand the idea of any kind of group because a lot of what I went through in the aftermath of my trauma, and even like in the trauma, was like about the church and about like a small group of people. And what I felt at that time was a lot of betrayal from people who were close to me. And it was like this community. And the last thing I wanted to do was have any interaction with any group, especially Christian group of people. That was like, just shoot me instead of making me even talk to any people in a group like that. And so something I challenged myself to kind of do, I think two and a half years ago now, was a good friend of mine who was a mentor. If you've seen some of my other videos, you may know where this is going. Started up a group about it was called The Journey. And it's curriculum that was released by Open Heart Ministries, which I believe is a good ministry. Let me just say that outright. I've not heard anything bad about them. But this group was a year and a half, very intensive group, where we dove deep into what everyone had gone through. It was a group of 5 people. It was supposed to be a little bit larger at first, but it just ended up being the 5 of us, and we got to know each other, not on a surface level. It was like really deep, really quickly. It was really hard for me to do because so much of my trauma revolved around community and Christians and trauma. And like, it was all those things in one place, but I wanted to challenge myself to do it. I tried to give 100%. A lot of good things, I think, at that point had come from it. And then I found out not long after it ended that the person who started it, led it, who was very good family friend, who was a mentor to me, who counseled me, who met with me one-on-one for years after I was sexually assaulted by a pastor, who was a pastor, I could go on, who did my premarital counseling, who married my husband and I, was a sex offender. And he was the guy leading the group for victims of sexual abuse in the church. And this guy heard every detail of my story and was sitting there encouraging us to like give more details and, you know, really, you know, the more you can tell, the more healing it is, which is just sickening to think about now. And when I found this out, I was shocked and appalled, more than words can tell. But then I wanted to tell other people in the group because I still had contact with this man. And he is not a safe person to have contact with because of everything that I found out about him. And the reaction of another person in the group was basically, how dare you not take his side? You know so much about him, you know his story, you know what he's been through. I can't believe that you wouldn't, you know, believe him and believe that he's innocent when he has 3 charges of sexual assault against children in 3 different countries. And so she turned on me, he turned on me. Another person in the group was really ambivalent, like tried to be like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. We should I'll definitely cut contact and blah, 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 but didn't. And then the other girl in the group was 1,000% appalled as well. But I like went into this experience hoping to break this cycle of hating Christian groups, sort of semi-hating Christians, which I didn't want to hate Christians, and being terrified of groups or communities. And what came out of it was an incredibly mentally traumatic event for me. And I didn't think that I could ever trust anyone again after that, or trust a group again after that. Like, I thought that my walls were up permanently, end of story. I didn't see any hope after that, because I was like, I put myself out there, and I like committed to putting myself out there, and dear God, that was the worst, one of the worst possible ways that could have gone. And like, I thought I did my homework. I thought I knew people. I thought I was safe, and I was the furthest thing from it. But anyways, I think that there's a choice that we get to make in situations like those. And I don't know how this works entirely, and so I don't have a nice answer with a bow on it to give to anyone with this, but I know that I am still trying, because I believe in the power of community. I believe that there are good people. I'm not going to say that whenever I'm in a group of people talking about anything, or in a group of Christians, or in a group of like survivors or supporters or whatever, that I'm not questioning everyone deep down and slightly terrified. I am, but I'm trying. Like, I got involved with that group, Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence, which is full of amazing people. And I went on that retreat, which was like 40 women, which is a community, all talking about the traumas that we'd been through. And I was petrified, because I was like, I don't know these people. They could all be horrible human beings for all I know. And I am putting myself in harm's way again, essentially, is like what I felt like. But I did it because I believe that there are good people. I believe that there are good people out there at the end of the day. I believe that I have met some really, really, really horrible, awful, crappy ones. I know that you have too. But I don't believe that everyone is like that. I cannot tell you that my first reaction when I meet most men who are older than me, because I've had enough experiences with males who are older than me and take interest in me. I don't mean like are hitting on me, but just like seem to care about me, that my immediate reaction is like, oh my God, you're like a sex offender, pedophile, piece of crap, get away from me. Like, that's my reaction in my head. They're like, you just want something from me. And I get really defensive and like weird inside. Or even like going to jiu-jitsu, which is a community I love being a part of. It has nothing to do, I mean, like, people there probably know about what I've gone through because some of them watch my channel, which I really appreciate. But sometimes I have a hard time being there and trusting people, but I'm going to keep trying. I think that's all I can say. Like, I'm going to keep trying. It's not easy. It's really uncomfortable, and sometimes it feels stupid. Sometimes it feels like literally like the dumbest decision you could possibly make. Why would I keep putting myself out there and trying to find trustworthy people when I have been so burnt and so hurt? But I choose to believe that there are good people out there because I know that there are, and I've met them, and I know them. And I know that isolation and having walls up all the time is absolutely what I needed for a while, absolutely what people need to do for a while, but also isn't sustainable, isn't life that I want for myself. And so I'm trying, and that's literally all I can say. I don't do great some days. I isolate a lot, especially lately, but I'm trying. And community is really hard. That's not a happy word for me. I do well one-on-one. Like, if I'm just talking to one person, getting to know one person, having coffee with one person, I'm okay for the most part. But the second you start involving groups, I'm questioning everyone and like trying to figure out their real motives and like all of that, you know? So it's hard for a lot of people, obviously not just me. And I wanted to recognize the fact that community is a very triggering thing for a lot of people, and not just leave a video up there being like, trauma community is great, yay, it's easy, the end. Because it's not. Because I think a lot of people's triggers and trauma does come back to community, because communities have either abused people as a whole or betrayed and let people down as a whole. And that may or may not be your situation, but I've heard it so often that I know it's true. I know it's true from my own situation as well. But I just wanted to kind of share that piece of my story and say that I'm trying and currently choosing to believe that there are good people out there, and choosing to believe that everyone's motive is not to abuse and hurt and attack and assault and manipulate and do evil, as much as it feels like that some days. So I'm trying, and that's all I can do right now. I am Jo Beckwith, and this is Trauma Talk. I so appreciate you listening. I feel like this one was a little bit rambling, but that's where I am today, and you guys are amazing. Thank you. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please take care of yourselves until then, and I will see you then. Bye.